YouTube, how's it going? Frogs Angels is back with some more NBA content. Now that we know LeBron James is with the LA Lakers, big debate is how good are the Lakers? How good will they be this year? Can LeBron make it to another NBA Finals? And there's people that think no matter what team LeBron's on, he's going to take them there. Look at how terrible the Cavs team was all year. They struggled. He still took them there. So I'm kind of going to, at first here, I'm going to eliminate some teams that really have no chance against LeBron and the Lakers in the playoffs as these teams sit now. Maybe it's too early to do this, but it's been an interesting debate, interesting topic floating around. So I'm going to remove team by team, and then until we're left with the teams that can really compete with them. There's some obvious ones, and then at the end I'm going to have my Western Conference power rankings and basically seeding predictions. And it's pretty early, but as the teams sit right now, I just wanted to give you my take on this. So a team that I don't think can compete with the Lakers in the playoffs, in a playoff series, the way these teams sit. I'll take a couple teams off I'll take two teams off the board right off the bat. The Blazers and the Nuggets, to me, are borderline playoff teams. They're very good teams, but for how good the West is, they're borderline playoff teams. And I just don't think they can compete with LeBron James and the Lakers. And you expect the Lakers still to land somebody else, a big name guy. But as they sit, I still think in playoff basketball, you have to take those two teams off the bat right away. Looking at the rest of the teams, I think any of these teams obviously have a chance against them in a playoff series. But really, you can take off the two teams on the right. You look at the Jazz and you look at the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think I would take them off next. I think all these teams that happen to be on the left are teams that can compete with them, can beat them in a playoff series this year. Looking at the Spurs, obviously it depends on if Kawhi Leonard is still on the team. As of now, he's still on the team. Nobody can make a trade for him. They're asking for a lot. So right now, the Spurs may be able to compete with them, beat them in a playoff series if healthy. Pelicans too. I mean, Anthony Davis is playing at an MVP level, and the scary thing is he can get better. They actually looked better without DeMarcus Cousins, even though I think he is the best center in basketball. They actually could be better without him. They did lose Rondo, but I still expect the team to overall be better because Anthony Davis will be playing at a higher level even. They acquired Mirotic halfway in the season. He played very well for them in the playoffs, so I think they may get better as they're getting used to their lineup. And then adding Julius Randle, I think he can start to develop alongside Anthony Davis and Mirotic. I really like that three-man rotation. So the Pelicans, I think, will be better. The Thunder are a team on paper. You expect them to be better, but are they really? And then the Warriors and the Rockets, the obvious ones. And people right now, it seems like there's a mixture of people saying, well, now that the Warriors signed Cousins, most people are saying the Warriors got it again. But the Rockets and the Lakers seem to be the teams that are next up to compete with the Warriors. So again, I think the other teams I removed can compete with them, but I think these are the main teams to look out for. I think you can. If I had to remove one next, it would probably, as it sits, it would be the Pelicans or the Thunder, I should say. Thunder on paper. That's why I want to keep the Thunder on there, because on paper they should be able to be better than the Lakers, but got to remember how they played at the end of last year. I mean, they can get better, getting used to each other. Paul George in there long term, so they could get better. But again, they look much better on paper, as everyone knows. So the way it sits, Kawhi Leonard on the Spurs, and healthy, they should be a good team. But on to the main point of this video, I kind of wanted to rank my Western Conference teams as they sit, because the Western Conference is so good, and it was already really good, and it's so much better now because the young talent being developed, other teams are getting better, and now LeBron James in here for the Lakers. So here's my rankings. So I'll go through all these here. First seed, I'm kind of predicting the regular season here, and the balance of each team, how good each team actually is. That's what's going into this. So the Warriors get number one, maybe the best lineup of all time now. We have to wait and see, but adding DeMarcus Cousins is just ridiculous. I was shocked by that. The Rockets are number two. They could finish over the Warriors in the regular season, just like they did last year. Still got to get Clint Capella back. I expect them to, but he could go to LA, honestly. He could go elsewhere as well. So for now, I got them two. And for right now, Kawhi Leonard's on the Spurs, and I'm assuming he'll be playing more this next year. So I got them at 3, and I have the Lakers at 4. They're going to have some struggles during the regular season. So if this was a power rankings for playoffs, I actually could bump them up a little bit because LeBron James finds a way to get further and further in the playoffs every single year. So and make it to the finals. But can he make it to the finals with the Warriors sitting there? I don't think so, the way they sit. But for regular season, they could struggle at times. I think 3 is at best where they'll finish in the regular season, depending on the Spurs situation. But the Pelicans, I think, could pass them. I got them at 5. Like I mentioned, Anthony Davis could get better, could win the MVP. More time with Mirotic. He was very impressive. They had Julius Randle, young talent that could play alongside those big men very nicely. Drew Holiday, excellent point guard. So I like the Pelicans a lot. 5 seed. Doesn't say how good they are. It just shows how good the West is, really. And then 6, the Jazz. Donovan Mitchell, can he get better? That's another guy. It's pretty scary if that guy could get better. And at the same time, you expect him to because he was only a rookie. And then Rudy Gobert continues to play at a high level. So the Jazz come in there at 6. Oklahoma City Thunder at 7. Like I said, I want to put them higher because Russell Westbrook is probably one of my favorite guys to watch in the NBA of all time, really. Just so dominant. And they got Paul George. I mean, everyone bashes Carmelo, but I mean, he can still play the game. All right. I mean, he's people act like doesn't even deserve to be on a team. That's just so far from true. So they should be better though than they actually are. So I have them in terms of more like a power ranking. Right now, I got them down at 7. But again, they have the ability to finish in the top 4, maybe the 3 even. And then 8 is the Timberwolves. I wanted to put the Timberwolves much higher, but then keeps coming out. Jimmy Butler, Andrew Wiggins, they don't like each other's gear. Jimmy Butler doesn't like Wiggins' work ethic, his defense. Now it's coming out that Jimmy doesn't really like the same thing about Cat. Karl Anthony Towns, and then Tibbs doesn't like Karl Anthony Towns' defense. And then Jimmy Butler and Kyrie Irving are supposed to meet up at a different team. The T-Wolves are going to give an extension to Jimmy Butler, but he might not accept it for that reason. So all this messy stuff makes me bring the T-Wolves down. I thought another year with Jimmy Butler, another year with those young guys developing, I thought this team could easily be up towards top 5 easily. But all that nonsense, I kept them down at 8. Now, as you can see on the right side here, at the top, I have playoff contenders, teams that can contend to make the playoffs. The first 2, there's a gap between the first 2 teams and the next 2 teams. Nuggets and Blazers. The Blazers were actually the 3 seed last year, so you can't really count them out. But the way I see it, they have 2 legit players, and I don't think that's enough. They were poor in the playoffs, so yes, they can make it back to the playoffs, but I have them outside the top 8 for now. They need to do more. Nuggets, young team, balanced team. Like it a lot. They're good enough to be in the playoffs, but can they be in this Western Conference? A team I really enjoyed watching last year just missed out. They could get there. They can get there this year. And like I said, there's a gap, but I do think I didn't want to count out too many teams here. I didn't want to sleep on too many teams. You can't count out the Mavericks and the Grizzlies. The Mavericks, I think, if everything plays out, DeAndre Jordan's on the Mavericks. Luka Doncic is a guy that I think can play right away. I think he's pro ready. He's a guy that's ready now. Dennis Smith was very, very impressive. He could take another step up in this year. Harrison Barnes, Nowitzki, if he stays on the floor. It's a balanced team, pretty good team, so you can't count them out. The Grizzlies, if Mike Conley stays healthy, unlike last year, then you can't count the Grizzlies out. Jaren Jackson was probably my favorite player in the draft. First Summer League game happened just yesterday, just the day before recording this. Very impressive, but doesn't surprise me. Favorite player in the draft. I think he'll be a candidate for Rookie of the Year. He'll help them right away. So you can't count those 2 teams out. Grizzlies are familiar with the playoffs, just not last year. So that's my 9 through 12. 13, as you can see, is the Suns. Pretty good lineup. They need a point guard. What's Brandon Knight going to do? Can he contribute? Can he stay healthy? DeAndre Ayton, best player in the draft. I think he can play at a high level right away. Could also be a candidate for Rookie of the Year, obviously. And the pick from last year, Josh Jackson, can he step up? I'm a big believer in him. Not a good rookie season, but I'm not worried. He's going to be good. They get Mikal Bridges in there. Marquise Chris, big fan of him. Just got to stay out of foul trouble. They got a long list of young talent that can play right now. So very close to being a low chance contender, but maybe still too young. Clippers still need to do some work in free agency, losing DeAndre Jordan. I wanted to put them at 15, but I put the Kings down there. Still a lot of young talent, but and that could struggle. Bagley is gonna have a good rookie year. I like De'Aaron Fox, big believer in him, but we can see some struggles here and there. Buddy Hield, same thing, needs to find a shot, needs to stay more consistent. Another guy I was a big believer in. So I did want to put the Kings out of the Clippers, but maybe too young. And the Clippers do have experience of winning with some of those guys, even though they need to figure it out in free agency, and they're losing DeAndre Jordan. So we'll see. This is what I got for now. We'll eventually do an East power rankings, and then we'll update the West as well once free agency ends. It'd be way too early to do an East. I think there's just been a debate flowing around here on Twitter, everywhere else about the West, so I thought it was necessary to do it as of now. I want to see the Lakers pick up somebody else, but it really doesn't matter. As soon as I saw LeBron James went there, first thing that popped in my head is they're going to the finals. It's going to be Lakers, and who's it going to be? The Celtics? Is it going to be the Sixers? That's the first thing that popped in my head, because LeBron James makes it to the finals. The Warriors go sign DeMarcus Cousins, and that makes you put the Warriors easily at top. The Rockets got some work left to do still. Can Chris Paul continue to play at a high level as he's getting older? Can James Harden have another MVP season? I can see the Rockets falling down a little bit. Obviously a contender, but if the team out of the teams at the top there, I can see them. They could possibly struggle a little bit here and there, but most likely they'll be at the top. They got to have a lot of fight in them after almost making it to the NBA Finals, and they would have won the NBA Finals. But that'll do it for this one. Let me know your guys' rankings, your guys' seeds 1 through 8, 1 through 15, whatever you want. What teams can LeBron and the Lakers beat in a playoff series, not just a game, in a playoff series? What teams can't they beat? So let me know all that. Want you guys involved in the comments below. Appreciate it. Appreciate everyone's support. Our subscriber goal is 10K subscribers, so if you click that subscribe button, that'd be much appreciated. But that'll do it for this one. Check out our NBA and NFL videos. But that'll do it. Goodbye.